thought I would just do a quick tutorial on my new love of cross-stitch counting pins. So my friend Alicia was making them, and then I was looking up them, and I was like, I saw somebody that used buttons to make spools. And I actually found tiny spools at Hobby Lobby. So what you need for this is the tiny wood spool. And then I have two little beads. I have a 2-inch head pin, which is this. Some floss, which this is Classic Colorworks Tropical Paradise. Some Elmer's glue that's clear, and some E6000. So all I'm going to do first is I'm going to take the Elmer's glue, and I'm just going to put a little bit. Oh, it must have stopped up, of course, since I was just using it for a little bit. Sorry about that. So we're going to put a little bit on the spool, and then just take your thread. This is about this is 6 strands of the Classic Colorworks. Sorry. And then just wrap it around the spool, and as I wrap it, I kind of shove it up. So just wrapping it around the spool. The first time I made it, I did it 2 layers of thread because there was still like some open spacing, but I just decided that it didn't look as well as if you did just one, just six strands of DMC or whatever floss you have on hand, and then just push it up as you go and roll it on there. And then I try to cut it off kind of in the same area as where I glued the other, so that, because you can tell a little bit when you've glued it, so just like a tiny bit to like hold that on there. Got it almost all the way. So then I just let that dry for a minute. Then I'm going to take my E6000, and this, I have wax paper down just so I don't get anything on my table. Put a little of that. I have these giant toothpicks that I'm using. You could use anything. I'm trying to get the least amount on my hand as possible, but it does wipe off. So I just put a little bit on the pin, and then usually I have to wipe off even as I put it in there, so you do get a little bit on your finger. So I wipe it off real quick, then take a little bit more globbiness of it, put it in there. The spool is dry enough. You can still dry while it's sitting on here because you're going to let it sit. And then I just kind of make sure, you know, that it's in the middle. Then I put a little bit more glue underneath. And then take the next little bead, push it down. And then I just kind of make sure I wipe off a little bit of excess, best I can. And then I just make sure that the silver beads look like that they're, you know, really in the middle of the hole where the spool is. And then I just take it and I kind of just like smush the ends together like that and just hold it for a minute or so, just to make sure it's kind of set. And then once that's done, I just put it down and let it sit for, you know, however long to dry. So I've made, I'll show you, but I've made maybe you can already see them on here, but I've made all different colors. I've made a rainbow of them. And then it's just easy to use in your cross stitch fabric. Like I have 2 here just to show you. And that's what the counting pins are for. So, you know, say if you have to go over 40 stitches somewhere on fabric, that you can put a counting pin. This is the start point, 10 more stitches. I can put another one for 10 more stitches, and so on, so that I don't have to keep going back and recounting, but I know that this is 10 stitches. And so, yeah, so I've known about them for a little while, but I've never actually had any, and then after Alicia was talking to me about them the other day, I was like, oh, I really need to get some, and I looked some up on Etsy, and they're not that very expensive. But I just decided, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try to make some. So I've done a bunch of the spools, if you can see them on here, all different colors, and then I've also done a couple of these that have beading, which are cute also. I did this one, although I felt like this bead was a little bit too big. But yeah, so I just wanted to share. It's an easy way if you want to make some counting pins yourself. The wooden spools are in Hobby Lobby. In the unfinished wood section, they're in a package, and I think they were under $2. They're on sale this week, and they were where with all like the wood unfinished letters are. So all you need is that. The head pins, like I said, I'm using this brand name. This was actually from Joann's. Hildy and Joe, there was 45 in the pack, and those are 2-inch head pins. But the jewelry is on sale this week at Hobby Lobby, so I'm sure you could get it there. But really, you just, like I said, you don't need a lot. You need head pins, some kind of bead either end to hold it, a little bit of some kind of glue that would dry clear on the thread, and then some E6000. So I hope you enjoyed. And if you do them, please go ahead and tag me if you share them on Instagram at Simply Stitching Ocala, because I'd love to see them. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.